So something which we had already kind of talked about a little bit before, but Harry Potter reboot series is reportedly in the works at HBO. Now, we've spoken about this a few times here when it was initially rumored. They're a lot further ahead than we previously thought. So realistically, all they need to do now is just go and work out the deal with J.K. Rowling. 100% is this, because she has full creative control over everything.
Yeah.
So unless she suddenly pulls a George Lucas, you're not going to get Henrietta Potter or any of those things, right? It's Harry Potter, and she's pretty firm on those things. So it's not going to go the weird ways that you guys might think that modern adaptations do. So she's going to be on board as a producer, not a showrunner. She doesn't have the time to do it. She's not interested. And then they'll obviously look for writers, directors, so on and so forth. But the story is that they're going to go and do, is it 5 seasons for the 5 books or 7 books, whatever it is. And each season is going to be a book. It's a really ingenious way of doing it. And when I covered this earlier, is I think that because one of the main problems you have with Harry Potter is you had the really unique experience of growing up. So the books got popular very quickly, and then the movies came out very quickly, right? It's not like Lord of the Rings, where the books have been around for a long time, and then they get picked up and then adapted. The books became, rose to absolute massive stardom, and then the movies came out pretty quick succession. So everyone who grew up with the books essentially grew up with these individuals playing the characters. And not only that, is that they grew up alongside the people watching the movie. So the actors, the characters, grew up actually alongside the viewer base, the audience. So it's a really unique experience, one which we've not actually seen before. But the way they're going to do this now, I think, is actually in exactly the same vein. Because if you're doing a season per book, the cast, unless you're shooting, I don't know, unless you're shooting 2 seasons in one go, the cast logic would dictate they're going to grow up alongside the audience. They will grow into the role as well.
Which is perfect, right, for the story, because it just follows along with the school age, right? And you anticipate them growing up. We were fortunate enough that the kids looked young enough as they, between film releases, that they still kind of fit in the age brackets they were trying to portray. So we were fortunate there. And all of the outside casting that was done, with different actors, it was also fortunate that they, stayed, relatively within that young looking period. But you're right. I think this is a big win if they're able to release this sequentially in seasons and keep those kids, aging along with the characters. That's just the best way to do it. They're going to have to adopt the same method that it was Chris Columbus, right, that got that ball rolling. You're going to adopt that same manner of going about things. So, yeah, I'm right? Chris Columbus, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think this could be good. It's nice to see Warner Brothers finally trying to push, content and mine their IPs a bit more, because they've rested on their laurels for so long with a lot of their productions. And, it's nice to see them become a competitor again, potentially for the likes of Disney properly. Because Warner Brothers was a powerhouse. They were one of the biggest in the business for so long.
Yeah.
So, I'm more keen to see, I don't care about Harry Potter. I'm not sure it'll be fine. I guess it'll be magical, wonderful. I might watch it, right? If it's interesting, I'll stay watching it. But I'm not enamored. I'm not super excited. I'm more looking forward to the fact that another player is stepping up to the plate and showing the industry where the next focus is going to be. And it seemingly is largely on fantasy and adaptations and things rather than comic book movies now.
Well, you don't have to look far to see the things that are successful. That's for sure. I mean, it's, where you did a video about it today. I think, we're seeing game adaptations and other literary works and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about the future. And I look, I mean, my biggest complaint, and I've said this before, but probably not loud enough, I'm tired of reboots and remakes. I'm tired of
Yeah.
I'm tired of sequels. You
Are
can
you,
give
you're not telling me you're excited for Moana, the live action remake
no.
of a film that was out in 2016?
Also no. The
Disney
original
live action Moana.
you look, Moana might have been the last good film that Disney Animation made. Honestly.
Well, going
Yeah,
off
maybe.
of the one bit, because I remember the episode a while back here when, the talk was coming out, because I've been saying Zaslav's next thing he's going to deal with after DC is going to be Harry Potter, and they do want J.K. Rowling involved. And at that time, I remember having that conversation with you guys, and you said, this is the one time where we've had a franchise like this where like the actors grew up as the characters, right? And I had to concede that point. But I also said at that time, don't be surprised if there's some recasting involved here, especially if they either reboot, which I said is probably the most likely scenario. I do remember saying that. Or B, they were talking about if they can get everybody on board, they would like to do like the Prince's, the whatever, the Cursed Prince or whatever the play, two movies, or Cursed Child or whatever hell it's called. Yeah. And then Hogwarts series or something like that. Well, I think we got our answer to whether or not the main players can get along with J.K. Rowling or not. And the answer is no. Because I think this was a clear sign to everybody saying, yeah, these guys are not going to get along. And we went with J.K. because she is the franchise.
Well, they have to.
Right.
They have to because she is the creative control. She retains all control over it. They literally can't do anything without her. They're not allowed.
Well, I love how they had to point out that she's not going to be a showrunner, right? But she is involved. So that basically that's them getting ready for the backlash from the Rees, right? Because we know it's
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they really shouldn't, because they've just proved to themselves that, well, hopefully they would have proved to themselves that they don't need to listen to that, because Hogwarts Legacy, they didn't listen to the nonsense there, and that was a massive success, like $850 million worth or something like that. Absolutely insanely successful. Like, you don't need to listen to these people. Just say no. Literally, just say no. You can't do anything if you just say no. Like, no. Oh, but no. But no. My feelings. No, I don't care. No. But you've offended me. No. I don't care. Just do that. They've got no power. You give them the power by bowing to their whims.
Yep.
God. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Again, I'm not massively enamored of Harry Potter, but it's fascinating to watch as an industry commentator, where the big players in the industry are looking to put their money. Because you've got to remember as well, Warner Brothers does have a money problem at the moment.
Yes,
quite a large one, right? But they're like, you know what will make money? Where we're more than happy to pour cash into? Harry Potter. Not DC, right? Because we're not seeing them announce loads and loads of DC stuff. Not 7 seasons worth or whatever it is. Is it 7 seasons that this is going to be going on for?
I mean, if it's Harry Potter and they go by the books, a book a season, I don't see why they wouldn't.
No, that's what they're doing. Yeah, it is literally a book a season.
Yeah,
so that is 7 books that they've released. Is it
7 or 8, something like that? Yeah.
Well, 7. They made the 7th book 2 films.
And I've never gotten into the movies, but I do remember fans griping when they got to like the middle films when Chris left and they started compressing some things and people got pissy. And then at the end, they did do like 2 movies for like the last book or so or whatever it was, and I think people were a bit happier about that. I'm not sure, but again, I'm not a fan. But if I was in Zaslav's shoes at this point, especially with the nonsense that's surrounding this thing, he's just basically turning the car around, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they're bickering in the back. It's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to turn the car around. Y'all are done. There is no more of this shit. It's just, we're going to reboot it. We're not going to have to worry about all these other people and their feelings about J.K. Rowling's, including the actors themselves, because we're not going to have them be a part of this shit. Get ready, kids. We're going to do a big cute. They're going to, you watch. We're going to have some new unknown be everybody in the cast, and it's going to be just like you said before. We'll be growing up with these kids throughout the seasons.
It'll be interesting. It will be interesting to see the response, because this is firmly for a new generation as well. To a degree, like still obviously previous, Harry Potter fans, but it'll be interesting. It will be genuinely interesting to see where this goes. And Warner Brothers are also putting their money in other things which are quite fantastical based. So again, looking at the industry as a commentator, where are they putting their cash? Well, there's another Game of Thrones prequel series in the works based on Aegon the First, Conquest of Westeros. There's also the potential to do a movie to either precede the series or cap the series. So they basically release a movie, which I think they absolutely should do, release a movie in theaters, because I'd love to see a Game of Thrones movie, that world on the big screen. That'd be good fun.
Be amazing. Yeah.
That'd be really good fun. And then go continue the story on HBO Max. Boom. Loads of subscribers, because people would be like, yeah, I'm intrigued with this 100%. But this is just another thing, it's another sign of things. It goes to show that regardless of how Game of Thrones ended, House of the Dragon is a success at this point in time. It's doing well enough for David Zaslav, because you've got to think again, they're not in a position to just spaff money up the wall. David Zaslav's a businessman. They know that they've got problems. They're looking to cap a load of. They just scrapped $100 million in a tax write-off. They're not throwing money up the wall needlessly. Right. They've clearly gone, House of the Dragon is a success. Let's go.
Well, I feel like this is a big winner for Warner Brothers. I mean, they really leaned into it today. I think I counted 4 different things that they were talking about today. I think you covered them all in your videos today. I'm with you. I think Zaslav. I think Tom's right. I think Zaslav is turning the car around on everything, not just Harry Potter. I think he's doing it on everything in the studio. I think it's about time. I mean, again, as an observer of the industry, as I have been for a long, long time, this is the only thing that makes sense. And let me tell you, everybody needs money right now, even Disney. Disney's going to have to choose between ideology and money. Warner's already made their choice. Universal's made their choice for the most part. You're watching Comcast turn around too. I'm sure we're going to cover some of the stuff they're doing.